The number of times I've started and restarted this is unhealthy. Don't mind my lip. I was sick a while back. I'm starting to heal now. Don't mind my beanie as well. It is cold. Taffy hates it when I cover my ears, but better warm than cold, right? Um, yeah, I guess you can't always be looking pretty even when you're cold, but that's beside the point. Um, I've started a podcast, things that go bump in my mind, and that's where I unpack all the things that go on in my mind. It's a lot of things. And I'm not complaining. It's a lot of things. I am loving the podcast. I'm loving the engagement. It's a small podcast, but I am really loving the engagement with the few people who are engaging with me. And it'll potentially grow. I don't know where it will end up, but for now, it's literally just a small podcast, things that go bump in my mind. And the reason why I am making this video is not for things that go bump in my mind, interestingly. Oh, it's not for the podcast, but it was something else that went bump in my mind. And then instead of just putting it on the podcast, I decided that I will make a video and share because I love sharing. That's me. If I'm not sharing, if I haven't shared anything valuable with you, oops, then you haven't met me. So yesterday I was on social media, Instagram, scrolling, and I saw someone talking about having the audacity, to believe in yourself, the audacity to believe that you can do it, that you can do big things, and that you yourself are capable. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it, because what keeps us from growing is not other people. Yes, they can put in physical blockers there, and sometimes it's actually mental blocks that other people put on in your minds and on you, constantly telling you can't do it, you need me, you need so and so, and things like that. And then you end up not believing in yourself. But she called 2026 a year to have the audacity, to believe in yourself, to believe that you can do it. And my thinking was, it should not just be a yearly challenge, right? It should be an everyday thing to believe in yourself, an everyday thing to have the audacity to wake up and say, you know what, yesterday was rough. Today is still going to be rough, but I am here and I am worth it and I am worthy and I am going to do the best that I can do with the resources that I've been given, with what I am and where I am right now. And that is, I think, what holds us back. We have so many reasons as to why it cannot happen. Buzzword these days is generational curses. I'll do a whole thing on that one another time. But honestly, we need to let go of generational curses. Yes, you were born into a family that has nothing. Yes, you struggled in your early life. Yes, you're still struggling. But have you ever stopped to think, but what can I do? Me, myself, with nothing. My problem with believing in generational things is you are taking the responsibility from yourself and trying to put it on someone else. Grandfather, grandmother, someone who died 20 years ago, who was like XYZ. And there is a market for that as well. As in, if if believing in that is your thing and you want to monetize it, be the person who tells other people about their ancestors, their the people who came before them. Yes, about how they messed up their life. That Rakhadi who absolutely hated your grandmother, who went and did XYZ, who poisoned so and so. It's fine. And then charge people. I mean, there is a story a couple of years ago. I know I'm digressing, but there's a point. There's a story that I like telling where this guy came into someone's office and said to him, your father says he is hot. You need to go and put a shade on over his grave, right? And the guy who was narrating the story was like, poppycock, there's no way I'm going to do it. My father is dead, right? And how did my father talk to you? You're just a random stage. And he was like, yes, your father has been bothering me. And he needed a couple of things to appease the father's spirit over and above. And he also wanted to actually pay for relaying this message. But what I'm saying is, and you can tell from what I'm saying that I don't believe in the dead coming back and demanding or wanting things. But yes, what I'm trying to say is there is a market for every single thing. This guy had the audacity to go and tell someone that they received a message from the other side, from someone who died. Have that same audacity. Have the audacity to wake up early in the morning. Look at yourself in the mirror and go, wow, look at me today. I'm going to do X, Y, Z. This was meant to be a short thing, but I can tell it's going to be a big thing because things that go bump in my mind, things are going bump in my mind as I am saying this now, right? So I spoke about having the audacity to believe in yourself. I spoke about waking up in the morning, and sorry, my lips are dry. And it's bothering me now because I can see myself. If it was an audio podcast, I would not have to worry because I wouldn't be able to see myself, right? So now I'm like, some of you will just be looking at my lips and going, my lips are dry. Don't worry about the loose skin. So yes, for those people who are worried about looks, that was for you. I plan on not editing any of these. So it'll be as raw as and unpolished as I possibly can because I honestly don't have the time. I also don't have the time for makeup. You can tell. Other than the lights, I combed my hair, yes. And then I was cold. So beanie it is. And yeah, these are the tools that I have, my phone. And this is me having the audacity to actually record my very first visual podcast. I have done a couple of videos before where I shared ideas and things like that. So this is just a continuation of that because I love talking. I have a lot of ideas. I have a lot of things that go on and on and on in my mind. And I'm like, some of these things are not meant to be monetized. They are not meant as a penny X, so I can tell you about it. They are meant as a, if you can pick something from something that I am saying, if you can learn, if anything that I share resonates with you and says to you, this is me, that's all really that I want, because it's depressing to see people struggling and people believing that they cannot do certain things because of XYZ. And half the time, it's all in your mind. And I know it's easier said than that. I mean, I've gone through situations where I was depressed because of what someone said to me. And half the time it turns out that I was overthinking. I looked at the person and then I did not assume. I heard what they were saying, but then when it came here to the interpretation then became negative based on my past and my history and how I've always dealt with certain situations. But I am now at a point where I'm like, when you reflect and you think about certain things, you need to grow and learn from those things, and you need to move on. I can't be the same Karabo I was last year, or 5 years ago, or 10 years ago. I can't. I'm a different person. So many things have happened. So many things have happened that have opened my eyes, that have made me realize that some of it was not a generational curse. It was not even from someone telling me something. It was just from me thinking that someone is thinking a certain way about myself. There is a story Interesting. I love the story. My dad absolutely loves talking about this story. There is a story that is told, or that my dad loves um, telling or loved to tell. My dad loves stories. So when we were young, he loved to give lessons in stories. Yes, I didn't appreciate it at the time because half the time I would have done something wrong and I did not want to be corrected. But now I'm older, wiser. Yes. Um, so I appreciate it a lot more. So yes, he tells the story of two guys who were sharing a room. I'm assuming this was at a hostel. I don't even know if the story is true. But yes, he tells the story, two guys staying together. One of them was very quiet. The other one was a talker. I guess the other one was much like me. And the other one was very quiet, introverted, reserved, but he was a nice guy. Minded his own business. Then the nice guy, the quiet one, goes and buys a knife. No, it wasn't a knife. It was an axe. You know those small traditional axes that people would fight with. I don't know how to describe it, but it was like those small traditional axes. And then he came and he put it on the wall in the room. And then every day he'd come from work, he'd take it down and just sharpen his axe and just sharpen it and sharpen it and sharpen it. For him, it was a relaxing thing, right? You know, after a hard day, you want something that will just calm you down and center you. That was him and his axe. To the other one, he is now thinking, this guy that has not said anything to me, he hasn't said much since we moved in together. That means he has a problem with me. Every time this X comes down, he's thinking, he's sharpening this X for me. Something is definitely brewing. And ultimately, they ended up getting into a fight because of what the other one thought of the other one, right? And the quiet one was like, zero intentions, zero thoughts about you. All I wanted was to sharpen my axe. I love my axe, and that's all I wanted to do, to sharpen it and to look at it above my bed. That is it. And the moral of the story is sometimes it's really all in your mind. Your thoughts about what is happening around your space and whatnot. Sometimes it really is in your mind. I'm not saying all the time. Sometimes people do think evil of you. Yes, they do. But it's also how you look at it, how you interpret it, and it is draining. It is hectically draining to have someone who thinks negatively of you around you, either all the time or most of the time. It's draining because you are now having to dig in a bit deeper to cover yourself first and to just make sure that you are at peace. It is hectic and it takes a lot. But that's exactly what we need to do. And yes, you'll have days where the depression gets to you. It's okay. You dust yourself off and you move on. Malatsi ga ate ka go tshwana. That's what the Setswana say, meaning that the days are not all the same. You'll have a lot of good days. You'll have a lot of bad days. You'll have a lot of depressive days. You'll have a lot of days where you're like, oh, I don't even know why I was depressed. But that is life and it will happen. It is not a flat curve. Ups and downs. And I feel we need to appreciate it for what it is, for just that. It's stressful, like I say, because we all want a life that is easy. We all want a life that is plain, you know. I don't want to have to think, well, I have enough money for school fees next year or next month. I just want to know that it's covered. I don't want to have to stress about it. I don't want to have to stress about certain things. But sometimes you live a life where you have to stress about a lot of things. And sometimes you don't even have to stress. Because even as I'm saying it now, I'm just thinking, okay, but why are you stressing when you know you don't have school fees? If you've made it in the past, right, you will make it again. That should actually be a reminder, you know. And the Bible is full of such examples. I know there are people who don't believe in the Bible, who don't believe in God, and that's okay, right? But when you read the Bible and you read some of these stories, you realize that some of these stories are there as for us. not to believe in the gods of the Israelites and things like that, but to remind you that you can also do it, to remind you that you've done it in the past and you can do it again in the future, to remind you that life is not a straight line. I mean, in Setswana, we also say, what is it? Something about botshelo ke leotwana, ne wa dikologa. Life is a wheel. It's like a wheel. It keeps going up and down, up and down, up and down. Meaning one day you're up, the next day the wheel has turned and you are on the side or you're down. But ultimately that is life, circle of life and all that. But yes, that is part of what has been going bump in my mind. The biggest thing was motivation, the audacity. Have the audacity to believe that you can do it. Have the audacity to start and to start small. Yes, you'll share your ideas with some people who you think, oh, this is the right person to help me with this. And they will either discourage you or steal your ideas or do something or not be as engaging as you thought they would be. You will not always get the desired response from people, and that's okay. It's not on you, it's on them, and that's still okay. It does not mean that you shouldn't want to try. Get up, try it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, at least you'll have tried. Don't just go, oh, so and so says I can't do it, therefore I'm not going to do it. How will you know that you can't do it if you haven't tried? Right? You get up, you try, you fail, you wake up, you try. Every day should be a new day for you to do something. Let's not all sit and watch as other people do it. I probably shouldn't say this, but I'll say it. I received an email, looked at the email, and as is my custom, 1,000,001 thoughts went through my mind, right? And the thoughts were around how to better do it, right? But the decision has already been taken, mind you. Just being informed, XYZ is needed for me, not the strategy, not the plan. No, that has already been decided. I am already seeing a couple of problems with it, right? For whatever reason. And I looked at it, sat with it for a bit, and then I was like, shut up. You are more than what you think of yourself. You don't get it right. So my thing is, sometimes we put ourselves in boxes and you say, this is me, this is my job, this is what I can do. And you don't realize that even you being able to do that is a marvel in itself. Yes, there could be 101 people who could do the same thing. 1,000,001 gardeners, 1,000,001 maids, 1,000,001 diggers. I don't know if they're called diggers. I'm just saying, there is 1,000,001 people in the world who can do the exact same thing, right? Dig a hole, make sure it's 5 centimeters wide, and. But the fact that you are doing it now and then, if that is what makes you happy, if that is what can put food on the table, if that is what you can do it and do it well. If it's a stepping stone, then do it well as well. If it's a stepping stone and you are destined for bigger and better and you know it and you believe in it, then make sure that you do not break that stepping stone. Break it, meaning do a good job. Don't get there and fail to do the obvious things. You've been asked to dig a hole. I mean, perfect example. I wanted to start a garden when I first started outside the wall, outside the yard. Yeah, there's a whole lot, but let's not go into that one now. So I started, right? I was digging, I'm digging, because ultimately when you're starting, the ground is hard. You cannot put seeds on nothing. The parable of the sower. Farming, we all know you cannot just throw seeds because the birds will come and eat that seed. Even if the birds don't eat the seed, if it is hard, The roots will have nowhere to go, and water, it will rain, it will just, yes. So I was like, okay, I know what to do. It's hard, but this is me. I can do hard things. Yes. So I started digging, and then the gardeners in the complex, a few of them saw me and they were like, oh, why such a beautiful lady like you digging? Oh, we can do this for you. Oh. And I was like, for how much? Then the guy tells me his fee. And I was like, and I think on the day, the guy who was helping me had not pitched. So instead of wasting a perfectly good day, I was like, I can do it myself. When he comes, I'll ask him to do something else. So I started. This guy comes and he says, oh, I can do this for you. Then he gives me a price that was higher than what my regular guy was charging. So I was like, that's a bit too much, right? And then I continued. Then he came back again and says, it's fine. We'll do it for you at the same price. Okay. And then he says, he is at work. Then he says, but I can't do it now. So I'll come after hours. Fine. I figure this is what you do every day. It shouldn't take you long. Over and above the digging, I had wanted them to mow the lawn, to do some weeding and things like that. Then he goes and he gets a friend. It made sense because the plan was for him to do all of this in 3 hours, right? Comes, he gets a friend. There's no digging. One, they spend the whole 30 minutes arguing with me about why they need to dig. They do little borders. So because they've done a border, I'm assuming, okay, they finally got to the digging. The lawn, they did such a horrible job. The weeding, they refused because I'm paying them peanuts. So I said, it's fine. I paid them. And I said, thank you. Following day, I want to plant seeds. I can't plant seeds. Guess why? They didn't dig. They literally just raked the ground. I can't plant seeds. Fortunately, the guy I use regularly was available. So he came in the next day to fix all of that. Moral of the story. I've never been able to recommend those guys again to anyone. Got a lot of work that needs to be done. I'd rather do it myself. It would be nice to pay someone because then I could go and do other things. But I cannot trust the very person who's close to me to do a good job because they could not. They did not see it as an opportunity to step up. They saw it as an opportunity to defraud me because in their minds, what do I know? And they're right. I'm not a farmer. I did agriculture. My father specialized in agriculture actually. So we had plots growing up. We dug the first because ultimately, how do you know how to? It's difficult. It is hard. It is painful. But you need to do it and you need to do it right. I've never been able to recommend those guys to anyone else. They come, they do the A to B. 90% of the time, it's not even wow. It's literally just ticking boxes and they're happy. But that's not what we need to do. That says nothing about your audacity to be yourself. That actually does not even say anything about audacity. It just says a lot about who they are. So with some people, you don't need the audacity. You don't have it. That's just you. I'm not speaking to those people. No, I'm speaking to people who are sitting on talent, sitting on potential, sitting on ability, sitting and waiting and hoping that someone will see them. And that's the other thing that kills us. Wanting someone else to see us so that they can help us or get us in and things like that. And then sometimes it works out, right? But sometimes it doesn't. Which is why everyone's I don't want to call it an origin story, but everyone's, because it's not an origin story, it's like your blow up story. I don't know what to call it. So yeah, everyone's story is different. Everyone's start is different because everyone's why is different. Sometimes you don't even have an amazing wow. Sometimes it's just I was bored, or I wanted to do it, or I'm good at it and I'm going to do it. Sometimes it puts food on the table and that's why you do it. Sometimes it's because you are genuinely good at what you do, you love it, you love life, and you're going to do it. And it's okay. Our reasons are different and they have to be different because we are different. And that's the other thing, right? We are different. And that brings me to the next part of this talk. I guess can still call it a podcast, né? There'll be no breaks, there'll be no music, there'll be no, what do I call it? Yeah, there'll be none of that. But there will be there is just me talking. I know I keep looking to the sides. It's because I can almost see my neighbor's dogs from here. So yeah, sometimes it's like there's movement and then you're like, what is it? Especially when you're alone in the house. But yeah, I think that was a short enough break. Otherwise, I'm going to lose my train of thought because that is real as well. So as I was thinking about having the audacity, the other thing that came to me was we need to have the audacity to do our own thing, right? And as I was mulling that, it then clicked to me that people keep saying to us, or to themselves really, or just randomly to the air, that you need to build your dream, otherwise someone will hire you to build theirs, right? And I think that has kept a lot of people bitter because it's not so easy to find that opportunity to build your dream the way you want to build it. Because sometimes the building of the dream, or sometimes what we see is not the dream. And sometimes we don't even have the dream, but we have the final product or the benefit of the dream. That is what will be driving us or pushing us. The big house, the big car, the kids in private schools, the overseas travel. That is what we want, not necessarily to build and to work hard. And that's also okay, but you just need to realize that that is not what you call it. That's not the dream. Yes, you are dreaming for the end product, not necessarily for the work that gives you the end product. Yeah, something along those lines. And I'm hoping that I'll get a lot of interaction from this, from people out there just trying, normal people. Yeah. Anyway, as I was thinking of that, right, I was thinking of the number of people who've gone on to start businesses. I was thinking of something that I was thinking about. I know a lot of thinking happens here, né? Yes. So I was just thinking to myself that a lot of us will say, oh, I've started this business. And yes, you will have started the business, right? And you want to do this and this and this and this. And then half the time you find that we are doing the exact same things. All of us. I always complain about Botswana, and I give an example. I'm from Botswana. That's the example that I will give. When Mascom first started, Mascom, Orange, I don't know so much about BTC because I think BTC was a late entrant, yes, to the mobile business. They had these payphones that you could go and make a call from, right? And then you pay 8 tebe, I think, one pula 20 if it was Mascom to Orange and things like that, and they sold airtime. And you remember the story back in the day. I mean, it was hectic to get airtime. I promise you, we've come from far. Our kids would not appreciate or understand how far we've come from, because sometimes you would not be able to afford airtime. And all you really want to do is just send the one call, right? For a minute. Say what you needed quickly. That's it. Anyway, when they started introducing that, the first people who bought into that made, I don't want to say a killing, they made money. And that was good. But then all of us figured, if my neighbor made 30,000 just from sitting there and waiting for people to come make calls, I'm also going to do the same. Buy the exact same thing, do the exact same thing, and sit right next door to my neighbor. You see with the problem, right? Then now my neighbor is no longer making 30,000. She's making 15. And then because I now want more people to come to me, I then start selling cigarettes and sweets and chocolates and all these other things that my neighbor probably is not selling. Then my neighbor is now making 10 and I'm making more. Then someone else figures, Karobo is making a killing. And they also come and they do what I'm doing. Then they also add fruit. And then they sit right next to me and my neighbor. Now there's three of us. There was a time when, I don't know about now, because I'm now living in Cape Town, but there was a time when you would go into Pakalani and there would be a long line of yellow, orange, yellow, orange, yellow, orange, right next to each other, like a kilometer long. And it used to bother me because I'm like, you've been there the whole day. The whole day. You and 50 others. I think eventually they were chased away. But what I'm saying is, we can't all have the same dream, the same vision, the same way of implementing it. That is not natural and not normal and not expected. And I know you're building your dream. It's your dream, but it can't be. We all have different talents. Bible, again, the story of the talents, right? Because it's not all about money. It's about the fact that we have been given talents. Every single one of us. We are all different. There is something that you can be good at. You get to that thing, you do it well. You become content at the work of your labor. The work of your hands. That's it, ne? Work of your labor will be what? Tiro. No idea. Anyway, work of your hands. To say I've worked hard. I woke up in the morning. I cleaned. I did this. I did this. I did this. I did it so well that when I sit down, even I am proud of the cleaning that I've done. Yes, you had cows. None of your cows have ever been lost. You take care of them. Yes. And I'm mentioning what we may look at as menial jobs for a reason. Because those are things that we look down on. But other than the fact that you will not have a mansion and you will not be able to build a mansion from that, your quality of life is way better than this one who's got people knocking on the door every day, who's got a mansion, who's got 10 mansions in 20, 30 places. Because at the end of it, and I'm not saying there is anything wrong, but what I'm just trying to say is we need to be content with our lot in life. Because if you are not content, then you start feeling stuck. Then you don't see opportunities. Then you start thinking, they won't miss this goat. Or I can sell this calf. This person only comes once in 3 months. And ultimately, what are you? A thief. And what happens when you lose that job? Who will recommend you for anything else? Because after all, you're a thief, ne? But yes, and to everyone else, right? I mean, I was just thinking this to say, if all the data scientists in the world were to decide that no, we're all starting our own companies, who would we work for? I'm not a data scientist, by the way. I'm just saying, using it as an example, because those are some of the most highly paid people. CAs, if all of us were CAs, if all of us were doctors, if all of us were teachers, you see what I mean? Sometimes you need to look at what you have as a service. In software, we've got something that's, software as a service. Think of yourself as well as providing a service. You wake up every morning, you say, my service for the month X will cost you X. Think of your job as that. For that X, I'm going to come in Monday to Friday for 8 hours, and then I will do this and this and this and this. We need to start changing the way we think about ourselves, and myself included, because I have days where I am upset about how certain things are going. I'm upset about how certain people have looked at me. I'm upset about how certain people talked to me. I shouldn't be. I really should not. But I am. And what that is saying to me is we can do better. All of us. One at a time. Not all at the same time. One at a time. Podcasts. Can we all not start podcasts? Because half the time when we bring in people, we discuss the same things and whatnot. I know. Even me, I'm podcasting. But I am hoping that I don't reach a crowd that just wants influencers, that is there for the likes, that is there for the jokes. But I am hoping and praying that I reach a crowd that actually wants to change their lives. Not in your dramatic, oh, look at my, is it 6-inch stilettos? A 6-inch thing. I don't even know how big 6-inch. Anyway, not in that manner, but in a manner that makes you whole, complete, content, without bringing in people from Europe, from America. I mean, I'll do a whole thing on that one, because we need people like us. We need people in the same spaces as us to tell us that we can be better, to tell us that we need to be audacious, not just once in a while, every day, every single day. I've had someone ask me why I'm always so happy when I come to the office. And I'm like, why not? Regardless of what's happening, I got up, I dressed well, made sure I smell well. I've got a car. I get into my car, to the office, and then I walk to the office, and I see people, and I greet people, and I love seeing people. I love watching people, observing people. Up and down in town, going to all manner of places. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But I always find it interesting, early in the morning, the expressions on people's faces. And I'm thinking, if I'm sad and depressed first thing in the morning, it's going to be a long day. A long day. And if you're like that in the morning, you will miss the blessings. You will miss the opportunities. And sometimes the opportunities are not shooting stars. It's a small thing. It's someone looking at you and going, wow, you look good. Wow, you smell good. Or just smiling at you. Because there is something about someone smiling at you that makes you also go, I'm seen. I have been seen. My favorite greeting is the Zulu Sawubona, more than the Setswana Dumelang. Sawubona, which means I see you. And I love that. I mean, I don't know if the greeting is said superficially, but for me, sometimes I look at people and I don't say it out loud, but the one thing that comes to me is Sawubona. I see you. I don't know if I should say Sawubona or is Ndiyakubona. I don't know. But yes, that is what has been going bump in my mind. I will potentially expound on it, as well as on other things that I've said I'll expound upon. But yes, that is it from me. This is my first visual podcast, I guess. I've done a short couple of things on Facebook, but this YouTube, but this is my first, and I'm hoping it will be a first of many. I'm hoping that there'll be more conversations, and more than the conversations, I'm actually hoping that there'll be a change, that we will become a nation, a planet of happy people, a planet of audacious people, because audacity does not belong to a selected group. It belongs to all of us. Thank you.